Speaker, you have to sit and listen to probably more parliamentary speeches than any other person on earth. So what do you think actually makes what you would call a good parliamentary speech?
A lot of work goes into it, a lot of application. For backbenchers, it's as well for them to decide on 3 areas they want to cover, or 4 at the most, work hard at it, get their speech down to 10 or 12 minutes, and then it's rather a good one, and the House listens. But you can't do anything without a lot of good homework first.
So they've got to sit down, think about it. It's no good hoping that you can get up on your hind legs.
Absolutely. Yes, I mean, there may be, throughout history, no doubt have been a handful of people who could do that. But on the whole, for the vast majority of us, there's no doubt about it, that application is the most important thing.
Do you think the behaviour of MPs has changed at all since the arrival of the cameras?
I don't think so. I think in the early days when we had cameras in the chamber, undoubtedly it was unique, it was a newness. And then members played to the camera, and I remember what was called donutting, when colleagues came and sat around so that they could also be on camera. I don't know how long that happened for, but members soon got used to cameras in this House because they are very unobtrusive. I don't notice them as Speaker at all. I never think that we're on camera. And of course they're remote controlled. And I think after a time members got used to it. And I think this new intake of members, which came in 2 years ago, I think they came in not terribly conscious of the cameras because, of course, they'd seen the House on television and it was all part and parcel of their working day.
But do you think perhaps they are aware now that they're speaking to a greater audience than just the chamber?
I hope so. I hope they know that they're speaking to the public of this country and overseas too, because I was always in favour of bringing cameras into the chamber to make our work here as transparent as possible for those who send us here. So I hope they're speaking also to the public outside as well as to their own colleagues in the House. I'm very much in favour of cameras in the chamber and, very importantly too, in select committees. I want the public to see what we do here.
So, in a sense, the arrival of the cameras 10 years ago was a step forward democratically.
Very much so. I think it helps the democratic process.
And yet, some of them, of course, hated it when they first came in. And some of them, I suspect, still secretly hate it.
I don't know. Maybe they secretly hate it, but no one reports to me that they don't like the cameras. I could name the people, and I'm not going to. In the early days when we had votes on whether we should televise the House or not, there were some very vociferous people who were opposed to it. But I would have thought that now it's padded down and everybody's accustomed to it.
Do you notice at all any difference in the Speaker's job because they're perhaps on camera, or has it made not the slightest difference at all?
It hasn't made the slightest difference to them at all. I mean, the House is still as robust as it's ever been. It is not difficult to keep order in that House. I mean, one lets them have their say and noises from sedentary positions for a little while, and then you've probably seen me stand up and say, enough. Sometimes I mention a member's name, House falls silent. You give them a little bit of rope, that's all right. I don't think that it's changed at all because of the cameras there.
Because I think one of the things we notice is, in a sense, how the Speaker operates, how you operate. Sometimes a look can kill.
I hope so. That's what I intend, that it should be like that. And of course we have some guidelines here for the broadcasters, is that if it does get too noisy or rowdy, and I don't think I've ever had that experience, I know full well that once I stand, the cameras move to the chair. They move away from the chamber itself. But I don't ever have to do that because I hope with a little look here or a side glance there or a murmur here that I can do the job.
Though on occasions I recall that you've said, I am on my feet.
I am on, yes, of course. Resume your seat, I am on my feet.
And that's almost the ultimate sanction.
The ultimate. And then I see colleagues pulling the coattails of whoever is there to sit down. You know, she's at it again, sit down.
What would you say of all the speeches that you've heard is the one that sticks most in your mind?
You know, speeches come in all shapes and sizes and flavours. And there have been very good speeches on Kosovo, on Iraq, Iran, on Bosnia, on Northern Ireland. But I think perhaps the most impressive speech that I recall was the one made by Robin Cook when he was in opposition, when he had mastered in a very short space of time the Scott Report on arms to Iraq. And I think that was a very impressive performance by any standard.
Now, one of the great Commons occasions is when there's a change of speaker, when a new speaker is elected, and that's rather an unusual occasion, isn't it?
It's most unusual and very nerve-wracking, actually, I tell you. I was as nervous as a kitten. I sat there on the opposition benches, and I knew what I was going to say. So I'd worked on the speech for a long time, and I thought it's never going to come my turn. Everybody else was popping out and saying who they wanted, and some of them endorsing my candidature, and my palms were getting sweaty. It was a very nerve-wracking experience, but once one gets started in a speech, all the nerves go. You know, whoever it is, you have to produce your very best, because if you don't, you're letting yourself down. And I did the best I could, and it worked out well.
And then we have this strange tradition that you are dragged to the chair.
Yes, well, as you know why that is, so many of my predecessors, it was off with their heads. So although you have to show us reluctance, no, not me. After you've been fighting very hard to get there, you do this, no, not me, thank you very much. I remember what happened hundreds of years ago. But I remember it very vividly. It was a spring day, and the sun shining through the high windows of the chamber, that spring sunshine coming in, and being dragged to the chair, and then to make my few comments before I took the chair. It was a very remarkable occasion, one, of course, I'm never likely to forget.